Time is money. My battery's going out in my Fitbit, especially when it comes to running and growing and supersizing our business or creating the life that you want. This expression, of course, was said by Ben Franklin in 1748, and it actually appeared in a thing written by George Fisher called Advice to Young Tradesmen. And what does it mean, time is money? It's a reminder that time is money, that meaning one should not waste their time, because they could be spending that time using it to make money or to earn money. Now, you could talk about that or argue about that side of the equation all day long. But instead, let's talk about time and money and how you feel about it. What do you think? To me, as a business owner, I was always very conscious of time and wasting time. Now, I grew up as an engineer and was trained in things like time and motion studies, which it doesn't get more detail-oriented and innate than that. But it made me appreciate that some tasks, some jobs, everything actually takes a certain amount of time. And there's a trade-off between how much time it takes and the value that's extracted from those activities. Now, there's things that we spend our time on that we can't really quantify. You can't quantify time with your children, spending time raising your kids. How do you quantify what's the value of that time? But we can quantify the amount of time that we spend on activities that generate revenue or income for our business, the things that we do in our business that make us the most money. Are we spending our time on either things that we absolutely love to do or things that make our business the most money? And if we're not, and those things that don't matter that much, we want to be getting help with those. We want to be delegating those. We want to be outsourcing those. We want to be automating those activities. We want to make sure that we're not spending our time doing those activities. I use this as my excuse and my justification for offloading housework and not doing housework and shopping and things around domestically that I didn't really love to do anyway. I always like grocery shopping because I love to cook, but all the other types of shopping, I didn't want to spend any time doing that. And I actually convinced myself that I hate shopping. Now, I remember when I was a teenager loving going shopping with my mom and getting stuff and shopping and hanging out at the malls with my sisters. But over the course of my college years and career, I just decided I didn't have the time and energy to just spend going shopping. So are there activities like that in your business or in your life that just aren't really giving you the return on investment? Because time is the one thing, at least I don't know anybody who's actually announced that they've figured out time travel or how to stop time, or anyone who's actually able to predict the exact day of their demise. I think that's what makes time such a valuable resource. We don't know how much of it we actually have. So it's a very limited resource, but it's an unknown limited resource in that, if our money runs out, we can always make more money. We can always replicate money. We can always earn more money. But none of us has the ability to create more time. We get 24 hours in a day, each and every one of us. I think of it as a great equalizer because no matter who you are, where you're from, we all get 24 hours in a day. Now, again, we could get into the whole philosophical thing that time is made up and it's just a concept and an idea, just like everything else. But in order to get along in society and build our businesses, let's focus on time as most people understand it. What we see on the clock, the time passing 60 minutes in an hour or whatever. Let's be real. Let's start there in an agreement of reality. So what is the value of your time? Have you ever done the exercise where you figured out what a minute or an hour of your time is worth? I did the hour in some training program back probably when I was in my 20s and learned to measure and keep an eye on what my time is worth. And that allows me the ability and the freedom to say no to things that just don't make sense for me. I remember in school, in grade school, my kids went to the Catholic school, and there's, of course, tons of fundraising, tons of volunteering required. And 90+% of it I opted out of and passed because it was easier for me to donate money than to take the time that I would have been required to volunteer and do some of those activities. Does that make me a bad mom? I don't know. It makes me a mom that set priorities based on what was important to me and my family, not based on what was important to everyone else in that particular community or environment. Did that make people talk? Of course it did. Because whenever you stand up for what you believe in and you live according to your beliefs and your expectations, there's going to be people that don't agree with it, right? Do you agree with the way everybody else on the planet lives? I doubt it, right? We just don't. And it's okay. They get to be themselves and you get to be you. And actually, you need to be you, because that sets the example for everybody else. So I'd love to know if you've ever done that. I remember working in my Italian food business one time, and somebody didn't show up for work. So I was filling in for the person that didn't show up at the last minute. And I was there at a little piece of paper calculating what it was costing me per hour by being in that position, working in my business instead of on my business. If you've never done that, that's another really good exercise. Look at the tasks that you're doing in your business instead of working on your business, and what is the difference there. And maybe it's okay, maybe something that you're doing in your business you love to do. Maybe it's creating proposals or projects, or meeting with clients one-on-one, or doing your own social media, whatever it is for you. Maybe you love doing that, so that's part of what you like investing your time in, building relationships, you know, through social media or whatever other means. But other things like running copies, cleaning the break room, tidying up after people, are those things that are working in your business or on your business? I found that I got a lot more bang for my buck by creating systems and processes and procedures and then training people on them than actually doing those things myself. And I think you'll find as your business grows, that's true for you as well. So curious, share in the comments below. Do you believe time is money? Do you think time is a more important resource than money? You know, everybody doesn't agree that. I think it is. I agree with this particular idiom. I don't agree with it because you can use that time to earn money in terms of earning it from someone else. But I do believe you can create more money and make the world a better place with your business by thinking about your time. And again, we could get into the whole time management discussion. There's a gazillion different time management processes, procedures, systems, tools that you can use. Pick and choose and use what's right for you. I've over the decades figured out what works for me, and it's a conglomeration of all the different things I've learned in the past 61 years, I'll say it. And that's what I do because that's how I manage my time. And every few years I'll come across something new that I hadn't really heard or let myself hear before, and I'll be like, oh my God, you mean the one thing? The one thing was the last thing I remember with respect to time management that really caused me to change my thinking about how I was setting priorities and how I was doing things and what I was focusing on. So that's it. Have an awesome day. I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? How might you use it in your little business and your life? We're doing 100 Days of Proverbs for the beginning of 2021, and then we will flip to something else equally as interesting and enlightening. Have a great day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.